Now, what did you do to go and get those customers, right? Because getting up to 1 million, you got to try things like, I'm going to double down on content marketing or outbound sales or whatever. So what was the biggest growth driver for you guys that helped you to get to that milestone?
The biggest thing that didn't help was outbound sales. And we've kind of had this conviction that we can do outbound sales really well for 11 years now and never quite actually done that as well as I think we would like to. But from early days, we had all our uni friends and we were like, let's get them to help us, like come sit in the office and call people. And I guess this was to answer your other question. We did think about like, okay, rather than just calling anyone, let's at least find lists that make sense. So I can't remember how, but I found a list of every childcare centre in Australia and I screen scraped it from somewhere. And so then we had someone come and call every childcare centre in Australia and then send them an email afterwards. And that didn't really do much in the short term, but 3 years later, we were still getting replies to those emails. So it did have like a real long tail effect, which was surprising.
Wow.
Not many replies, but they were coming. So we had to keep that inbox active. In terms of what did work, the most effective thing was, so I don't know if you know Xero, the accounting software, but they're from New Zealand and they're very big in Australia. And they launched their payroll product around 2012 and they launched an API for it, I'm going to say start of 2014. And we knew that it would be good if you didn't have to type your timesheets back into Xero. You could just use the API. And we had this inkling that they'd probably try to, they loved Apple. So we thought they'd probably try to like have a real app store and promote their apps and stuff like that. So we like really tried to, as quickly as possible, get connected to the API, get it working, get a partner status, go to all their events. And our guess was right in that they really, really made it a corporate strategy for many years to push apps really hard. I think they thought it would help with retention, which I don't know if it did, but it was really good for us because by being first or second onto that app store, we always had the most installs or the second most installs with them, like highest rated in the categories we were in. And that drove a lot of inbound traffic. So we kind of rode off their coattails for a while. And then I think as we got more mature, we didn't need that as much. And then they decided they wanted to take a cut of apps, which made things messy, but that's more recent history. But yeah, in the early days, having someone who effectively resold our product for us was pretty awesome.